Hey everybody, this is Petey from the Spinrack, and today I'm going to do a video on the Legion of Superheroes. I'm going to do the Reflecto Saga. I came back, actually no, not came back. I think I had, I had a couple issues. I think it was 281. That's like the first Legion issue that I bought off the stands, and I loved it. And it was drawn by Steve Ditko. And then I had a bunch of the issues sporadically through that year. I had, I think, um, well, Paul was on it at that point, I think, but he had, it was like a Pat Broderick issue. I had a Keith Giffen, one of his early issues, and a couple issues of the Great Darkness Saga until I became full. My budget, or whatever I had for comics, had been going just to Marvel. So a lot of my favorite books like Brave and the Bold. No, I think I kept buying Brave and the Bold, but I stopped buying All Star Squadron. I don't know if Superboy was canceled, but I was also buying Superboy at the same time. At this point, Superboy isn't in the Legion. There's a lot of other things going on here. A lot of subplots. This is going full Marvel. It's not single issue stories. It's like long sagas, wars, stuff you see in Marvel. But if you look at the Legion, you see their characters that don't have face masks. And these guys were kind of the heroes in the future who were kind of more the galactic police. They were first just a clubhouse, sort of like a superhero American Idol, as I said before. But then it kind of became a galactic force because when I say American Idol, because they would reject a portion of the story would be to reject people. So I think a lot of times people do it in like a boot camp type of thing, but at the same time, it's a little more about the rejections too, that like gong show aspect, right? And so let's get to it. If you know the history, there was a future story where they had the statues of the dead legions or the memorials for the legions that aren't with them anymore, and one of them would be Reflecto, who is here, right? And he, no one knew much about him, but the readers were writing in, and the readers were constantly kind of writing in. The readers were the one who got the Legion their own title because for years they kind of moved around. Were maybe the popular characters in adventure comics and slowly took over Superboy's title. But it took, the readers were very much a part of this series, right? So they would ask who Reflector was, and Jerry Conway was planning to ask on this. But at the same time, he was leaving the book. So Roy Thomas, with editor, I think Lingman was the editor, their idea was to speed up this sort of Reflecto story, but it was a plan for a year, right? So, and right this time, Jerry Conway was just plotting. Roy Thomas is the new scripter, right? And Jimmy James is the artist. And when I first saw him with a friend of mine that I grew up with, Dixon, he had these things, and I guess he either let me hold them or trade them or something like that. But either I had one of these books of his, or maybe it was just the last one. Because, yeah, maybe it was just this one right here, which I think I drew copied a lot of the images and drew them myself, right? So it starts as many Legion books where they're coming to stop something, right? They see something that's going on, and they're back on Earth, and gotta help with this cargo craft, right? They get in there, they take on some villains. They're all doing their thing, and I think this is, if you look how this book is done, there's some decent wide shots. It's easy to see who the heroes are, even though they use their real names. You know, we got was it Cosmic Boy, Light Lass, Timberwolf, Karate Kid, Phantom Girl, right? And most, if you see the issue, the page before it, yeah, I think I call them all out. Yeah, great. This kind of starts in the action as they go on, but Phantom Girl, her powers kind of work a little wacky because sometimes they're working and sometimes she gets caught. And this time is one of those times, right? They see these tentacles and she's using her power and she solidifies, and at the same time she gets caught. And instead of dematerializing, she has to say it on. So it's like it's very explanatory, right? And so it's not sort of the comic book that you would have today. And in that time, she gets knocked out and she's probably going to drown. And they figure out that they don't know where she's at. But then they see this figure coming towards them, right? And Timberwolf realizes it's not coming at them, it's going past them, going down in the water. And as she's drowning, she's thinking of their fallen adversary and her lover, Ultra Boy, right? And she was thinking someone kissed him out of a trance. But at the same time, we have this character, this mysterious character. She doesn't know who it is. It frees her. And at the same time, they're going through the same stuff, right? When they get her out, they deal with the cargo craft. They go back to there. We see what's it, Brainiac 5. He sees what's going on. He goes on alert. So you get all the heroes who are, the married couples. We have Lightning Lad, Saturn Girl, Dual Damsel, and Bouncing Boy, Wildfire and Block, and they all run out. And then find out that this character has resuscitated Tina Wazo, and one of my favorite Legionnaires, and of course, it has taken on the Marvel flair, right? These guys are pretty upset that this guy came in there and saying he's not a Legionnaire, so he shouldn't be involved. But we the reader are like, he just saved her, but they kind of. And these other guys tell him, hey, he's fine, right? And they finally get to cool it down, but this leads to another story, right? That something else is going on. Some unauthorized thing had kind of done something to mess up this cargo area, right? And we get loose to it. There's a chain that dropped these seeds and the tentacles that was pulling it down, right? And Wildfire, he's kind of a hothead all the time, and he's questioning Lightning Lad, and he's like, you know what? I'm getting out of here. I'm giving up after this thing. He's leaving the leadership. Now, he seems like the perfect leader. He's another one of my favorite characters, but he's going to break out, right? We find out this person seems to be exploring the ice. It's Grimbor, the Chainsman, right? And he's plans a plan. This is the villain, right? And he has a picture of his wife, which he blames the Legionnaires for killing. And he has some satellites going around the planet, right? And before they can figure it out, Gets the chains all around them. And they go right and we see the trains. So, no, this is actually Earth. Yeah, okay, this is actually Earth that they're doing. The chains wrap around it. They crash land into it and they're just flying out in space. And now everyone can see it. And this is very DC, which is cool. Like, it's not really a Marvel thing, but it's very DC thing, having chains around the Earth that's crushing the atmosphere. And Grimboy comes there to the president, who's actually, I think, Colossal Boy's mom. He's kind of like, setting his demands. And behind the scenes, we see Reflecto looking on because he can't be involved in the actual stuff that's going on there. So the Legionnaires, Light and Lad's still handling things, so they plan to act. But they realize Reflecto is following but we have Princess Projecta and Seven Girl. They're there and they're handling things on the planet, right? There's our first issue, right? And see if Reflecto's in the action. So they, of course, change the bind to Earth. And they hit into it, they have no effect on it. This is the cool part about it, having something that's just beyond their ability to stop, right? And see, the bickering that's going on here is kind of akin to Marvel. They try to do their thing, and it's not Light Lass and Light Lad. They're brother and sister. None of that works. And then Monel was about to give a shot, and he said, "Nope, can't do it. Can't sacrifice you." And they figure out the North Pole has to be Grimboy's stranglehold, right? So we go back with the president. At the same time, Grimboy comes here, and he wants some retribution for his dead girlfriend. Some to fit his demands in this short amount of time. And realizes that the Legion, of course, is going to come and they're going to handle it, right? As the Legion is trying to handle the business, he sees Phantom Girl try to sneak off, but easily gets caught. And then, before that happens, Reflecto comes in here, right? And the Legions aren't happy, but they're kind of thinking, who could this be? It seems similar. And then Cosmic Boy comes in attack. It doesn't work too well for him, so he uses magnetic powers. That's of no use to him. Then Block comes. He shows he's as powerful as Block. The Block is ready to fight. Then Bouncing Boy gets the upper hand for a second, and he runs into Phantom Girl, and he just shows his affection for her, right? So then we see Van goes back to what she was doing. At this point, the art's really looking nice. I think it's Bruce Patterson that's inking it. And they run into the power crystal, right? And they realize the Grimber's already been here and done something to the crystal, right? So they tell this to Karate Kid, and they're still trying to regroup and figure out how to stop him, right? So they go to fight Grimoire, but he's ready for them, right? Captures them, everyone gets stopped, and the only one left is even Light Last goes down, and this gets him all upset. But Timberwolf is a little bit more prepared, and he escapes one trap. He gets in, but he gets captured. Grimbor has got him, and he's gonna make them pay. But at the same time, Karate Kid notices that the chains are getting tighter. So Earth only has minutes to live. All right, doing pretty good. So we're gonna have spoilers here. Let's obviously see what the cover says. All right. If you haven't figured it out already, Superman 2 is coming out at the same time. Right, this shot here, this is what I first saw. I was just like, aren't they young? But who cares? This kind of has the Marvel effect, right? And Monel can't get out. He found out that Timberwolf was captured. And it's like it's becoming hard to breathe as the chains get closer, right? Crushing the atmosphere. So they're trying to figure out how to get to it at the same time. I'm trying to find a weak spot, right? I think I had my father redraw that picture here. And he was somewhere, right? We see this is the end of the world type of thing. So people robbing, stealing, doing all this terrible stuff. Madam President is upset before 24, right? And see the bickering of what's going on here. And the rest of the Legion are going. Lightning, I think I drew this picture. And they finally catch a lightning lad. Then the rest of the Legion go up, and then Reflecto's coming to help. And they're not happy with them, so. So once again, as they go along, we see what can happen to the Earth, right? And they're like, hey, how do these all fall in love with him? They realize he might be someone they already know, right? So right now, he's using Block to take out Cosmic Boy, right? So there's not much left. And Princess Projecta, she's trying to use her powers of hallucination to possibly help, but then you see her fall out, right? And Karate Kid's out there trying to find a weak spot. He sends the ship he's in, and then they use the power ring in their spacesuits, and he's trying to find a weak spot, right? And everyone's falling out. They're close to dying, and then Bouncing Boy, he gets captured, same as Dual Damsel, and as Tina Wazo, she gets knocked out, and of course, Reflecto goes into action. But Grimbor isn't believing who this is, right? And he's finally captured him, right? And he realizes this person can only use his powers one at a time, right? So he's gonna kill him. So once he breaks free using his strength, Reflecto will not have any invulnerability. But then his girlfriend shows up with a Charma, and then what's the name? He realizes who it is. It's actually Tina Wazo, and he's like, "What? You about to break out?" I think I've drawn that picture and this one. And it's like he's gonna just strike, and Princess Projector still using her images, saying, "Nope, I figured out where the weak spot is." So he's gonna go to it, right? And at the same time, Reflecto gets hit in the chest, and he saves her. And he realized that Reflecto isn't dead. He's not who he thought he was, right? But he said, it doesn't matter. The next shot will make it even worse. The blast hits him. He said, nothing to stop him. He said, you're not Ultra Boy. He said, I never said I was. So the hints that if you've been watching him being attracted to Phantom Girl, they didn't really do about the powers, but you saw how was it Bouncing Boy was kind of figuring it was someone that Tina knew. So then it's like, if you're not him, but who are you? And he realized he doesn't know who he is. Right? And then the Karate Kid finally strikes, and the chains are gone. Right? And he's going to go to the Arctic Circle. Now, the Legion has been decimated by Grimbor. All of his traps were very deadly. And that's the cool thing about this thing. It wasn't like at the same time, Reflecto took the last horrible fight, and we open up. It realizes that it's not. They all thought it was going to be Jonah, who was Ultra Boy, but they go to his face and they pull it off, and at the same time, they realize taking that brunt power, he might be dead. Right? So there we go. We got through the Reflecto Saga in 24 minutes. Right? So yeah, that was a powerful thing for me when I read this story. I had some issues after that, so I was still surprised. And but at the same time, this was supposed to be, I think everyone, not for the fans, because the book was selling, but for the pros, they wanted Superboy back. So Jerry Conway's plan was to do it for over a year, and then Roy Thomas was like, let's get it done a little quicker. And then I think soon after this, he's going to be gone. So that would lead to the next three-parters, which I don't think these give away too much. Not this one. Let's go. Superboy's back. All have been Perez covers. Oh, Perez covers, sorry. This is the one I had as a kid. I had the other one when I was a teen. But this one I had off the stands. And I love drawn by Steve Ditko, which I'll do some other time. And this is the resolution of the storyline. And it doesn't look like Ultra Boy is making out any better. So, there you go. Spin rack out.